let's go ahead and get into the next one. Our next one is going to be my major frog rod. This is the frog rod that I've been using for the last 3 years or so. What it is a Team Diawa Celio 7-foot medium heavy action. And for a medium heavy action, this thing has got a really stout tip. It's a really light rod. It's balanced very well, and it feels amazing in your hand. It's probably one of my second favorite rods, really. I mean, it's amazingly comfortable. It's I can't say enough about it. I use it mainly for frog rod, but I'll also double it since I've got this braid. I'll use it as top water in open water if I'm chasing schooling fish or just trying to call one up from the depths. You know, that's really the main thing I use it for. I can use it for, you know, some flipping too and pitching, you know, around cover like boat docks and stuff. But I'm not going to use this thing around punching. It's too light of a rod for that. But this one has 50, I believe it's 50-pound Sunline braided line on it, and it's awesome. It's got a frog on it now, but I'll use it for those other techniques. Great rod and reel combo. The reel is a reel that I've had for about 4 years now. It's a Johnny Morris Signature Series. So the Signature Series Johnny Morris in a 7:1-to-1 gear ratio. This thing has got some battle scars on it, and it's caught more bass than probably any rod and reel I have. I think I think so, probably, except for maybe 1 or 2 of my cranking rods. I'm not sure, but sick combo. Alright, so this next rod we're going to get into here is another new addition for me, and it's a 7'6" medium heavy action Johnny Morris Signature Series carbon light rod, with the regular guides also. So it's 7'6", and it's got a little bit of medium heavy action, but it's also got the extra fast taper. So this thing has doesn't have a whole lot of tip to it, but man, it's got a lot of backbone. It's got a really good bend. I like it for, you know, hard body swim baits as I have here. I can use this thing for football jigs, Carolina rigs, just, you know, soft body swim baits too. Just a lot of that open water stuff where you're tossing around big stuff. I'm talking, you know, 3/4 ounce swim bait heads, and, you know, 2 and maybe even up to a 3 ounce swim bait. Stuff like that. A flutter spoon, I could use it with this thing also, but I like it more for the heavy action. So the reel we have here is just a reel that I got reconditioned at Bass Pro Shops. The Quantum 7.01 to gear ratio Tour Series reel, the older version, and it works well. I mean, I don't have any problems. It doesn't look in that bad a shape except for on this side. And it works well for me. It really does. And the line I have on this one is, I think I've got 17-pound test, and at the moment I think I just put some 17-pound test Bass Pro Shops fluorocarbon on there. But I think here, starting next season, I'm going to switch to straight Sunline for all my combos. Alright, so this next combo we're going to get into here is one of my newer combos also for the year. I got this rod back in early summer. This is a 6' 9" medium heavy action carbon light Bass Pro Shops rod. Okay, so get that in your head. 6 foot, almost 7 foot, just a little bit short. 6' 9". This this rod I like for spinner baits, even buzz baits. But I really like it for spinner baiting around cover, chatter baits, swim jigs even, but it's got an extra fast taper to it, so it doesn't have much tip. It shuts down really quick. It's got a lot of backbone for this small rod, but what I'm using it for right now is jerk baits. This is my #1 jerk bait and my only jerk bait rod and reel combo, and I specifically set it up for jerk bait fishing, because I'm really wanting to catch some big fish on Lanier with this thing, especially this fall, and I'm waiting to catch my first fish with this rod. Alright, so the reel that we have on this bad boy is a carbon light reel to match it. So it's super light, super balanced, and it's got about a medium-sized spool on it. This carbon light is so super smooth, unbelievable for the price point. It's not the most durable thing in the world, but for the price point, it's the smoothest reel I've ever had in my hands. And I've had some $200 and $300 rods and reels in my hand, and this thing is really amazing. Right now I have 10-pound test fluorocarbon line attached to some 20-pound spider wire sinking braid, and I have a pretty long leader on here. That way I can make a decent cast. I can once I make beyond a small little cast, it touches the braid. So when I make a real long cast, I have plenty of hookup power. That braid will come into effect after about a medium cast, and I can have that braid on the very long cast if one bites once it hits the water. So maybe if I'm casting around schooling fish, I have all the control I need for this small rod and reel combo, and that's really important for this small dude and you're fishing for spotted bass. So I can't say enough. I mean, this is a really balanced system, and I love it. I love it. Alright, so continuing on, we have a rod and reel that I've had for about 4 years now, rod and reel combo. This one is a Element 21 carrot stick 7-foot heavy action. And now for a heavy action, this is a really stiff rod of mine. I like to really use this rod for really heavy cover. I've even used it for punching. That's how heavy the action is. It has a very stiff tip to it, but I've used it for other things too. When I first started, I even used it for crankbaiting, for big crankbaits, like big square bill crankbaits that have big number 2 hooks on them. And stuff. I've used it for that, but spinner baits I've also used it for. I think I've used it for a buzz bait before. So it'll work, and that's one of the things in fishing. You can use rods for different things, but I really like this rod as my big jig rod. I'm talking the Strike King, Hack Attack jig, 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce flipping jigs with big thick hooks. I'm gonna have 17 to 25 pound tests, braided line or fluorocarbon line, and then occasionally I'll have braided line on this. I've also used this rod as a frog rod. I've caught some really nice bass on this as my frog rod this year. I've got some really great videos on Peak Performance, instructional video about frog fishing we're going to be coming out this fall. This rod right here led to many fish catches and a lot of the stuff you're going to see in that video. I can't wait for that video to come out this fall with Peak Performance Fishing. With the reel that I have here is a 7.1 gear ratioed Rick Clunn Signature Series reel. Nothing really too special about this reel. It's got the 2 magnetics, really great to have. But this right here is a lot of my flipping. I mean, I like to have my small finesse jigs for flipping and pitching around the docks, but that 7-foot rod's really important on having something around the docks. And but I also want to throw a big jig every now and then, because I'm gonna tell you right now, sometimes the big fish just want a bigger bait. So having that bigger jig, bigger skirt, bigger trailer with the heavier action rod and the bigger line is an absolutely perfect combination. So I use this rod actually a lot more than a lot of people think. I might have 3 or 4 jigs on every day I go fishing. So alright, so this next rod and reel combo we're going to look at, this one right here I've had for quite a while. I've had this one just as long as any rod and reel. This was one of my first really, $100 price point rods, and this is a 7-foot medium heavy action carbon light rod. Just standard 7-foot medium heavy, great for so many things. I have caught buzzbait fish with this, so many spinnerbait fish, small little Alabama rig like I have on this right now. I've caught them just so many different techniques, worming, jigging. I've caught them offshore with a big football jig with this rod even. It's got a pretty stout tip. It's a really great all-around rod, this rod. And then the reel that I have with it, I have a same thing, Rick Clunn Signature Series 7.1 to 1 gear ratio reel. The newer version than the other reel I just showed you, where it has the curved handle like this. It's really sweet. Let's see, right now I'm using it as a finesse little Alabama rig deal, but on them days when you're going out and you're going to need to have a spinnerbait, a buzzbait, a chatterbait, and so many different rods, you're going to be junk fishing a lot in the fall. That's one of the times of the year where having these mini rods and reels that can do a lot of the same kind of things really pay off. So that 7-foot medium to medium heavy action graphite rods, they're gonna do a lot of things for you. I could have 4 or 5 different baits tied on, and I can just junk fish all day. So I mean, I can't say anything else about it. I mean, it's a great rod. Everybody knows the Carbon Black is Carbon Light. It's a very popular rod, and the Bass Pro Shops, they make pretty good stuff. So another one of them. Now this next rod and reel combo we're going to look at here is a lot of what we just saw. It's a 7-foot medium heavy action Bass Pro Shops tournament special. So IM7 graphite. So it's in the medium range. I got this reel from a friend. He just gave it to me. And the front guide here is a little messed up, but it still works. I haven't had any problems with the line being messed up or losing any fish. I use this a lot, different things, chatterbaits, spinner baits, buzz baits. Those days when I need to have, you know, 4 or 5 rods that can do just about the same thing, it's really going to come in handy when I'm on them junk fishing days. And this is another one of them right here. At the moment I have a little Mullix chatterbait on it. I'm going to be out there in the pool filming a little footage, and also going to be fishing with this soon, hopefully. And right now I've got, on a lot of these rods and reels that I can do a lot of things with, I've got like 15 and 14 to 17 pound test. This one right now has 17 pound test line on it, and the reel is a Quantum Tour Edition 7:1 gear ratio with 11 bearings. Ridiculously smooth. Like, I thought that the other reels were smooth, but this thing is awesome, and the look of it's really cool with the carbon fiber handle. And I really like how the red and the carbon fiber matches this rod. It's a really slick look. It's a pretty balanced look. Feel. The look is just really good, and I'm big on look. I mean, it doesn't have to be special, but I really like it. Quantum reel's awesome. The rod's good. It's good enough for what I need it to do, and it's just another one of those, man. I mean, going out, you're fishing, they're tools. I'm practice fishing, and I'm fishing a lake that I'm not familiar with. I need baits that I have confidence in, that are going to be my tools to go out there and figure them out. Alright guys, so this next rod and reel combo we're going to look at here is one that I just put together. I have this reel that I got from a friend, this Browning reel. I used to have one just like this years ago when I very first started. I believe it was my very first reel, and I loved it. The feel of it, it just really felt great for cranking. And this is a 5.4 to 1 gear ratio. So for every turn of the reel handle, the spool rotates 5.4 times. Okay, so this is a really good cranking reel. It's very comfortable in my hand. It fits well, and it's really smooth for the price of this reel. It's got 8 bearings, and the rod it's another cranking setup. It's a 7-foot medium heavy action Bass Pro Shops cranking stick, IM6 graphite with the fiberglass that's in there. And right now I'm using this for several different crankbaits, shallow crankbaiting, but this right now, it's got 17 pound test line on it. And the bait I have on this thing right now is the Spro Fat John 50. Really good shad imitator. This thing dives about not even 2 foot under the water, and with this pound test line, it's going to be great around getting that heavy cover and getting right around them docks where those bass are hopefully waiting for some shad this fall, and hopefully they're going to catch my bait. So this is a really good combo, really sweet, really good for making really good accurate casts and controlling the bait left and right as you fish around the docks. That's really important, having a rod that's short enough to make the long accurate cast, but also long enough you can get the long cast that you need when you need it, and 7 foot's just right for it. Alright, so this next rod and reel combo we're going to look at is another cranking setup. It's for my deep crankbaits, but I also will use it for rattle traps if I need to. Right now it says that it's got 12 pound, and yeah, it's got 12 pound test line on it, and I'm going to use this with a lot of my Strike King 5XDs and even 6XDs, getting it down there around 14 to 20 foot of water. That's what I really like this rod and reel combo for. This rod is the original Bass Pro Shops cranking stick. Well, I think it's the original, but it's an older version. I mean, this rod is probably 5 years old. I've caught an absolute, I think there might be more bass caught on this than anything. I was thinking about one of my other rods, my favorite rod, but I think this one probably has caught more bass, perhaps. I'm not really sure. It's got to be fairly close. And the reel, my second Quantum Cranking Classic Tour KVD reel. So the big spool for the crankbaiting, super smooth gears, a lot of power in this reel, pretty light, the big handle here for cranking. Really great reel. Gonna have a review for these soon. So but yeah, I mean, nothing too special about this one. Just another really good cranking setup. You know, even in the fall, I like to crankbait really shallow or really deep sometimes. So gotta have everything ready out there. Even if I don't think I'm gonna do it, gotta have it all ready. All right, so for our last bait cast rod and reel combo that we're gonna take a look at, this is a 7-foot medium heavy action Bass Pro Shops cranking stick. It's the original one, just like the one from before, but it's a 7-foot model for you know getting those shallow fish, fishing around cover and stuff. The shorter rod is going to help you get those uptight casts and get the real good accurate casts with the crankbaits. But this one is really my dad's rod and reel combo. I'll use it occasionally if I just need an extra one. I've done really well spinnerbaiting with this thing, but crankbaiting is the way to go with this. My dad's got a little jig on here right now, just because this is his only bait cast combo, just because he doesn't really fish too much with me, but this is his, and it's a good rod and reel combo. Here we have a Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier with the curved handle, 5.1-to-1 gear ratio reel. So this is, like I said, mostly cranking. I'll use it for spinnerbaiting. My dad uses it just for whatever he wants to fish with when he goes out.